Northanger Abbey. As you can tell, I haven't actually started reading it yet, but I'm doing my intro a little bit early because, as I think I mentioned before, I am traveling a lot in November. I am going to Salem, and I'm going to film some of that, but I'm planning to finish Northanger Abbey before I go to Salem, partly because I have extreme flight anxiety, and when I'm on the plane, I need to be reading something that I can, really just instantly get engaged in, and, I'm in my own magical world, so I need, very much a fantasy. So I'm going to finish Northanger Abbey before I leave for Salem. But at the same time, I'm having to go back and forth a lot between where I live and my parents' place for doctor's appointments. Nothing major, just average doctor's appointments, annual exam stuff. So because of all that, I'm filming this a little bit early, but I am very excited to get into Northanger Abbey because it's one that I did read, but it was a really long time ago, and it was before I probably was really able to handle classics. I think I was in high school, and I wasn't ready for a book like this. So I am very excited to read Jane Austen's take on a Gothic novel. I think it's going to be really good, even though I hear it tends to be kind of lower on the list of Jane Austen books. But yes, so let's just go ahead and get into this. The sad thing is that this lighting used to be so good when I didn't have all the light bulbs in my fan, but now that I put all the light bulbs in, it's not giving what it did. But that, you know what? That's okay. I don't have good lighting anywhere in my house, and I'm accepting that. Update on the actual book. I'm a little bit more than halfway through, just a tad, and I was really vibing with it in the beginning. I thought it was really fun, and it's also satirical. I forgot to say that in the beginning of this video, but it's supposed to be satirical, and I was really feeling that in the beginning, and I thought it was cool how there's some tropes that I still see today. And it seems that the Gothic heroines had a little bit of a I'm not like other girls factor to them. So I really liked how Jane Austen kind of picked at that a little bit. And I'm kind of ready for it to get a more Gothic feel at the moment. I think I hit a bit of a lull around the 1/3 mark of the book, and I'm getting closer, I think, to getting back into the groove and getting interested in the story. Because at first it's interesting because okay, you can see her picking at the Gothic genre a little bit, and then our main character goes from her home to Bath, and that makes it kind of interesting, and then she's trying to get acclimated to Bath, and that makes it kind of interesting, and then she meets a new friend, and originally meeting the new friend kind of makes interesting dynamics, and also a possible suitor. So you're getting introduced to all these things, and then you kind of get to a point where you're not really getting introduced to things, you're more of just vibing and nothing's there's no great plot twist, it feels at the moment. And luckily the friend just got kind of engaged to our main character's brother, so that has made it a little bit more interesting for right now, and I think it's gonna start to go back up. Okay, I did want to just bring out some random quote that I underlined just to give an example. Okay, so this is when she's first in Bath and she's witnessing two ladies talk to each other, and they're getting reacquainted for the first time for her. It's running into a girl that you knew from high school, and now you're in your late 20s. That's kind of the feel of it. So it says, talking both together, far more ready to give than to receive information, and each hearing very little of what the other said. I was they are so real for that. How many conversations have we been in that it feels that way? I'm hoping that I'm gonna have the book finished sometime Sunday. For context, it's Thursday. usually on the weekends I can start to read a little bit more and a little bit faster than what I do during the week. So it's kind of my hope. But regardless, my actual goal has to be next Wednesday because I'm getting on a plane on Thursday and I am scared out of my mind, but I'll make it through somehow. Okay, welcome back to the hammock corner. It's been a minute. I ended up finishing Northanger Abbey, and I actually wound up listening to the audiobook a lot for this one, and I think it's because I've discovered with this particular edition that I just don't like the font size. Something about it doesn't really make me enjoy the reading process, so I've been doing the audiobook a lot. But having said all of that, I actually wound up getting to the gothic part as soon as I did my last video update complaining about how it's not gothic enough. So that did happen. I enjoyed the scenes of Northanger Abbey. I think overall it was a very fun book. I can definitely tell that it's, Jane Austen's first book. Like, it's not Jane Austen-y. Like, she doesn't have her signatures in there yet. The romance is fairly weak compared to her other ones, which isn't a bad thing. But that's like something that I've noticed that was very lacking. I think the character dynamics also weren't what they are in some of her later works. So, it's like I can tell that this is her first book. I don't think that's a awful thing by any means. It means that it's probably not going to be, it's not going to be my top two, is what I'm saying. But I do think it had a fun read to it. I do, again, like how she explores the tropes. I also think it's kind of like fun how she addresses the reader at times. Kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit there. I think that's what that's called. So there's things in it that I don't see as much in other Jane Austen's books because there's that like satirical element, but also the fact that she's really like focusing on the gothic genre and the way that society perceives the gothic genre, especially gothic novels, and the way that society perceives women reading novels and like all of that. Like, there's a little bit of that actually in the book that I thought was kind of like fun and interesting, and it gave me very similar feels as like our to like today debate of like romanticy versus classic literature, and like people who read Colleen Hoover and people who read Charles Dickens. I don't know, I couldn't think of a classic author even though I'm literally reading a classic author. But so like I thought it was cool how there was a lot of things that apply to the modern times. I mean, her other books do that. It was just a little bit clearer for me to see it in this one because of the satirical nature of it and the way that she wrote. As far as like the actual characters go, Isabella failed me. I was ready for her to be a girl's girl. She was not a girl's girl, and I was really upset about that. I could kind of, there was a little something in the back of my mind that was like, this feels a little bit too easy of a friendship. And it was proven right, but I wanted to be proven wrong. Eleanor is the closest to a girl's girl in this, but they didn't have like the same um, like friendship development that her like the main character Catherine and Isabella had. So it didn't have the same like hit to me. I didn't see her as a super close friend like how Isabella was seeming like she was. The love interest was, he was fine. No complaints. He's not one of my favorites. I don't think we saw like a ton of him. Like I think we got to see that he kind of like likes to mock the gothic genre. Like he was kind of a vessel for that a little bit. So I think that probably took away some of like what his character really was. Which I think, adds to the weaker love story side of things, which again is fine. Like I don't think that's what she was really trying to do in this particular novel. I feel like I can't tell if it sounds like that I'm really disappointed in this. I'm not disappointed in it. I just wish that she actually wrote a gothic novel and not a satirical one, because I think it's because I love gothic novels so much. I think my bias is really showing in this one. So I'm actually going to be coming back in December because I'm going to do Lady Susan. I have decided to read that. I'm hoping to find a really cute edition at my local bookstore that I've been looking at for a while and have been thinking, no, don't buy it yet. And it's really going to suck if it's gone. Hopefully not. And I'm also going to be do the final ranking of like how I felt with each of these books. You probably already know which one's on the top. It's not hard to guess. I have a favorite, and it has stayed the same through reading all of her novels. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. And I'll also try to do some like Christmassy decorating, filming. We'll make it fun. I'll make it chill for myself. I say that every time and then I don't. But like, what if I did? So all to say, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If I put this up before Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, I don't know when it's gonna happen. And I will see everyone at Christmas.